Hi everyone, and welcome back to the ScrapbookPal YouTube channel. Sarah Wiles here today, and I am playing with the Altenew Build a Garden bundle, and this is the Morning Glory bundle. It's gorgeous, and I love how easy it makes everything. So here, I'm just going to go ahead and rub the top of my stamp because it'll be the first time I use it, and sometimes they have a film on them. I'm also using my VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink to do my stamping. I'll do a little bit of ink blending later. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I don't have to push hard. I went ahead and stamped 2. Wasn't sure if I was going to use 2, but I stamped 2. And I have never used these stencils. One thing I do have to say is I probably need to get a hold of the stamp wheel or grip mat. I need to do that. But I am using right now Seedless Preserves and Dusty Concord in Distressed Oxide. I also use Spun Sugar, Squeezed Lemonade, Peacock Feathers, and Pine Needles. I use my big domed blendy tool first, and then I did pull out one of my little daubers to add some shadowing in. The stencils make that super easy. Me, on the other hand, I am a very messy stamper, scrapper, anything. Stuff ends up all over my fingers. I'm okay with that, and you'll see where I have an issue with it here in a few minutes. But yeah, we'll get there. As you see, I'm sticking my fingers right in it constantly on top of the stencil as well. And you see there's a small spot where I went over the edge of the stencil, which I don't really care about because that's not going to be inside the die cut area, so it's not a big deal. I'm going to continue moving on, and I pulled out pine needles so that the peacock's feathers had something to kind of give it a variation color-wise. I do go over multiple portions of the peacock feather. I think that's on the next one, to make it a little darker, but not as much green, but I do add the green in there as well. And I'm just going to continue inking all this. I like the difference in where, I don't know how to say it, the way that they line up. It's so cool. Once you all you have to do is look at it. It doesn't take me but a second once I look at it to know where they're going and how they line up. I do have to say, like I said, the grip mat would have probably made it a little bit easier, but I will get that next time I make an order. So here I'm adding some more, just blending it together. I did make an oopsie, and so I kind of tossed that to the side thinking, okay, well, I can't use that now. I come back to that because I do use it still. But I'm going to go ahead and start on the second one. I'm going to do a little different because on the first one, I didn't use the spun sugar, and I wanted to try a little bit lighter. And so I will use the spun sugar on this. I am using more of the green, and with the second one, as you see, it's kind of going a little faster, a little easier because I already know where they go. It just took me using them the one time on the other one to know where they go and how to put them. So I do love that about these. When I first got into using the stencil for some of these, I used to be really leery on it. I didn't know what I was going to do, if I was going to do it right. But the way they have everything labeled and listed, it's perfect. If you would have saw a second ago, I to myself said, how did I do it again? Because you can see that little mess up above the top flower. And I'm like, hey, I'll make it work. So I pulled out the other one and brought it back as well. I'm going to do the last little sprigs. And that way I'm like, okay, well, this is ready to, I can use it when I die cut. So I'm going to go back to adding the color to this one. And I'm going through and grabbing the stencils that I want to use in the order that I want. And this is where I'm going to go ahead and bring the spun sugar into it. And I do mix it with the Seedless Preserves. I reach down here in my desk and grab another dauber so that I can just I do the little one so I can, and go over with the big one again so I can kind of blend them together a bit better. I do like the fact that you can do that. It does end up being a little lighter than I would like. And so I will go back with a little more Seedless Preserves. Right here, I'm doing a layer of Seedless Preserves, and then with the little dauber, I'm going another layer over it and pressing a bit harder to add more color. And then here, I'm doing Seedless Preserves and Dusty Concord. Just adding a little different colors in there. When I pulled it off for that second, if you saw that, it just was a little too light with the spun sugar. And so I added a little more Seedless Preserves. And now here, I'm going to go ahead and grab the Squeezed Lemonade and add the centers to my florals. It doesn't take but a little second to go ahead and do all this anymore once you do it the first time. It's so easy. I'm going to go ahead and run these through my Sizzix. Place it down and continue to go. And you just run them through. Pop them right out and go ahead and place down the other one and run it through as well. I'll get this off my desk here in 1 second and just have the dies. I'm moving my cutter. I did cut out another piece and I used another die that's in the shop. It'll be linked below. It's the Spellbinders Heartfelt Thanks and Scallops. And I decided to grab a Doodlebug glitter paper sheet from my stash, and I went ahead and cut that with that die set and went around it with the squeezed lemonade. I wanted it a little darker than what I had. It was really, really light yellow. And so I did that. It will dry back a little lighter than what it is here in the very end. But I wanted a place to stick my flowers, and I like the yellow contrast with the colors that I chose for the flowers. Here I pulled out my Uniball gel pen and fixed the little places that the ink was outside of the lines. That way I could still use them. So I make boo-boos on my stuff all the time. And I use my gel pens and stuff to kind of fix that so that I can still use the products, the thing that I've spent the time on, and I can still use them. Here I am going ahead and stamping out Thankful for You. I'm also going to pull another stamp for the inside of my card, and it's going to say, You are a true inspiration. And I'm going to stamp that as well. Neither of them are straight, not a big deal. So, because I take care of that here in a minute, I'm going to go ahead and run this through my Sizzix again, because with the die set, it actually comes with a die to cut out the Thankful for You, just a note, and you deserve the best. So I ran that through, and then I will move this off my desk and I will grab my trimmer and I will trim this down a little bit. And then I realize because it's uneven, it makes it a little easier for me to do with my little choppy, my guillotine, my old trusty steed there. And I chop it up and I trim off the ends, and I'm ready to go ahead and assemble my card. So I'm going to go over, I have 2 different Uniball pens, and if you don't know, sometimes you need to run them over your hand or something warm to warm them up to get them to work correctly. So I went ahead and did that, got it to work, and I'm going to place this down. My cat wanted to say hi. I used the liquid glue to adhere that down, my flowers down, because it was on glitter cardstock. I really wanted to make sure that it stuck. Here I'm going to go ahead, I cut my adhesives in half so that I could put them on the back of my sentiment, and I'm going to put them right there on my card. I will fix that because it is crooked. I also decided to pop the whole thing up. And so I'm putting it on the back of the scallop right now with the little squares. I could not find my larger adhesive foam, so I went ahead and just did this. And right here, I'm off camera over my little garbage bin, and I am flicking the little backs off of each and every one of these so they're not all over the place. So I have a plain white cardstock base for my card. I straightened out the saying there, and I'm not done. I have this other one, and I'm like, okay, well, it still has that little messed up spot. I went over it with my pen, but I can use it on the inside of my card for some decoration as well. So I glued that down, and I added my sentiment on the inside, and I'm going to trim this off. And then I'm going to grab that other little piece, and I'm like, hey, I can use it over here, trim it straight across there, and it goes right above my sentiment. And so it adds some prettiness to the inside of the card, yet there's still, you know, enough room to write something in there as well for the person you're giving it to. I'm going to go ahead and make sure to go over that one more time to make sure that nothing else is showing, and that finishes my card. I really hope that you enjoyed watching this. Make sure to subscribe to ScrapbookPal and their YouTube channel so that you can be notified when anything is uploaded again from all the amazing design team members. Make sure to go check out the shop and grab all the goodies that you can, and I hope that you have a really great day. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!